You are listening to the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and, of course, the Glebe Central Pub. Go check out the Glebe Central Pub at 779 Bank Street. You guys know that they are our official pub. They got the Sens shuttle going, so check out the website so you can find all the dates that you can head on the Sens shuttle and then keep the vibes going back at the GCP. I'm your host, Brandon Pillar, joined by Lalime's Martian. It is a Vibecast again, running it back from last night, a 3-1 Ottawa Senators victory over the Utah Hockey Club. They're not the hockey club, we're the hockey club, and we showed them that with the victory. Martian, obviously the Battle of Ontario is sweet, sweet victory, but it's even doubled, compounded when you get another victory at the CTC the very next day.
Absolutely, buddy, and the home fans deserve this one as well. I mean, the mental and physical fortitude of this team right now is coming out in spades, Pilsy. 3 weekends in a row with back-to-back games. They go 6-0 in all those games. They're the weekend warriors, as the thumbnail says here. And the Sens have put themselves in an incredible position here, Pilsy. Third in the Atlantic, I believe, for the first time this season, and definitely the first time in the last 7 years that they've been this late in the season and they've been in this spot. So good on these guys. They've got to keep this thing going. Everything's clicking for them right now. The offense is still a little bit suspect, I guess you could say, Pilsy. But the defensive side of the game's been incredible, and a couple of the guys who we needed to get off the schneid got off the schneid tonight. So you got to be happy about this one, buddy. Happy Sunday.
Let's go. I think that's the big thing, Martian, is the guys that TSN showed the graphic. Claude Giroux, 13 games without a goal. Brady, 10 games without a goal. Drake Batherson, obviously in some offensive slumps. He didn't cash in today. But Giroux and Brady, they score goals. Giroux had a goal and an assist, and that's got to feel good to get that off your back. This was Claude Giroux's first goal of 2025. Like, that's how long it's been for him. And then Brady, the crowd lets him know that they appreciate that he's back in the goal column. The Brady chants were going at the CTC, so you love to see that. But honestly, Martian, all of those performances were a big part of this victory. But in my opinion, none bigger than the guy in goal, the Finnish firewall, Levy Merilainen. Like, just how nails is this guy when it comes to one-on-one plays where he has to come up with a big save?
I mean, it's going back to his days with Kingston. He's been incredible one-on-one. We've seen that, and you know, that save he made on Clayton Keller, I believe in the third period, or maybe late in the second, it was as clutch as it could possibly have been. And I was starting to get maybe a little bit worried about Levy Merilainen. The last 2 games, maybe his numbers haven't been as sharp as they were in those previous games when he's come in relief. And I think that, you know, he just proved tonight that he is an NHL goaltender ready, and he's young. His glove hand's amazing, and Levy Merilainen is here to stay for sure. I think, you know, by the end of this season, whatever ends up happening with Forsberg, but we've got ourselves a great young goaltender here in Levy Merilainen, and he proved that again tonight for sure.
Yeah, he's just so consistent. Like, obviously, the game up against the New York Rangers, not his best, but like to have one blip on the radar when it comes to successful starts for him isn't that bad. And he showed it again tonight. Now, the Utah Hockey Club, not exactly a top contender or a team with a lot of offensive firepower, but they've got some skill, like Clayton Keller, Nick Schmaltz. Ottawa Senators know all too well what this guy can do. He had some huge performances back in the Arizona Coyote days. Barrett Hayton had a breakaway where Levy makes a huge save. So he had to be sharp on this one, especially when you consider that the Ottawa Senators, they were shut out, or outshot rather, 34-27 here. The power play, both teams go 0 for 3. The Utah Hockey Club gets the edge in the face-off battle, 52.7 to Ottawa's 47.3. Blocks, Utah only with 8, which I feel like a lot of teams have success when they're up against the Sens blocking shots. The Senators, they get 19. A physical game here. Both teams with 18 hits. And then the 5-on-5 expected goals percentage, 46.3 for Utah. Ottawa gets the edge there, 53.7%. But the only stats we really care about, Martian, are the big ones up top. Ottawa, 3 goals. Utah Hockey Club with 3 or 1. Woof, not a math guy. That was close. The Ottawa Senators get the win here. And I think this was huge too, Martian, because I think coming off a big emotional win like you do up against the Toronto Maple Leafs, maybe, and then Utah, a team that, there's not really any rivalry. They're a new team. The points don't matter as much. So maybe you just kind of rest up and you're like, we got the big win that matters. Let's just cruise through this one. And they kind of were doing that to start the game, but then they're able to get things going and finish off the last half of this game strong. How important is it to you that they're able to find maybe not the best, most ideal ways to get wins here, but they're getting wins?
Yeah, I mean, it's just showing you, Pills. I think the difference between the mentality of this team and their ability to, they've learned kind of how to win games now, right? And in low scoring games specifically, it's an uncomfortable probably spot for them to be, especially early this year when they were still just trying to figure that out. But lately, they've looked a lot more comfortable in these tight games, and this is kind of the tight checking style of play that they're looking to do. And I think they've kind of found themselves a little bit of maybe a new identity here, Pills. I think that, they've got this defensive side of the game figured out, and they are all of a sudden, when the time is right and the fruit is ripe, they're scoring goals at the most perfect times, I think, here, Pillsy. And, the Ridley Gregg goal, shorthanded in a 0-0 hockey game in the middle of the second period, it couldn't have come at a better time. Obviously, because Utah's on that power play, and of course they end up, getting one on that same power play. We almost want to give Ridley credit for 2 goals on both nets in the same power play for either team.
The penalty expired, thankfully, so it doesn't hurt the penalty kill numbers. But either way, not great.
Yeah, I mean, close enough, right? And so and then obviously Giroux getting on the board too there. Giroux and then Giroux made a great pass to Tkachuk too. These timing of these goals are coming in the clutch, and that's what you need to look for. And so if they can hang in these games, even if they don't look quite 100% like we want them to look all the time, but they don't allow themselves to get scored on, and then give them a chance to jump back into games, that's how they're going to win a lot more. And I think they're starting to learn that. And that's also the kind of win that you'll see more often in the playoffs than in the regular season. So I'm loving it. I think they've got themselves rolling in a perfect spot.
Yeah, it's great. And I mean, obviously you love for the offense to really start clicking like it was earlier on the season. The power play was going earlier in the season. Those aren't happening. But Martian, after getting shut out back-to-back games up against Rangers and Bruins, I'll take these cheeky 2-1, 3-1 wins because you got to get a couple. And if the goaltending's strong, that's all you need. And let's go through the goals here. You mentioned the Ridley Gregg shorthanded goal. Schmaltz has a bad pass that goes long, and it's kind of funny because Zub, I think he's not trying to pass it to Pinto there. Mike Johnson talked about it on the broadcast. He kind of fans on the clearing attempt, but it works out because he was just going to fire that down the ice, which, hey, you're killing a penalty. You got the puck. Don't overcomplicate things. Just do that. So that's fine. But he fans on it, so it goes short. Pinto gets it. And I think Pinto did a good job of selling that, maybe not necessarily that he was going to take the shot, but he didn't make it picture perfect obvious that he was going to make that pass. And that gave Ridley Gregg a little more space. And then that's another guy that I feel like his offense has kind of slumped a little and he's bounced around the lineup in Ridley Gregg. And that's got to feel good to get that one for him.
Yeah, for sure. And that 2-on-0 kind of developed there. And I'm in my head because we've seen Pinto a couple times this season as well on these odd man rushes where he's looking guys off or maybe doesn't see that he's got a guy with him. And Ridley Gregg was a little bit behind him on that 2-on-0. So I was sitting on my couch going, you got two. And luckily he must have heard me.
He heard you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure the boys on the bench were yelling the same thing, right? And Ridley Gregg, what a shot. Made no mistake. He didn't mess around with that thing. Right on his tape, and he right off his tape immediately. So great shot. Great to see. Like I said earlier, a lot of guys getting off the schneid here on the offensive side of things. And Ridley Gregg was that guy on that goal.
Yeah, he opens the scoring, a shorthanded goal. The power play woes continue for the Sens. They go 0-for-3, but hey,
what's wrong with that?
Man, the power play was not looking good. Every pass was not connecting. Utah was able to break things up and clear the puck with ease. The Sens weren't able to enter the zone. I don't know what they're going to do about the power play, Martian.
Pilsy, in their last, I think it's 24 or 25 power plays, they're clipping below. They're in single digit percentages for their power play. Basically since Christmas, I'm pretty sure. So it's bad. I mean, they need to figure that out. But it's good to see at least some of the special teams is working. Obviously, the penalty kill has been pretty good, and the getting a shorthanded goal there tonight, and then. A couple 5-on-5 goals late, and they're able to sneak out W's. But absolutely, it's going to be key for them going down the stretch to figure the power play back out, because they just really don't have a trigger man for it right now. And I think that's going to be probably the next thing they should look at inside themselves to try to figure out. They got to look inside themselves, Pilsy, to figure out what's going on here with the power.
Yeah. Well, Josh Norris is back, so you've got a guy that knows how to do it. And then Tim Stützle showed up against the Toronto Maple Leafs, that if he just decides he's going to shoot it instead of trying to make the perfect pass or try to make too many passes, he can have success. So let's hope that continues. And unfortunately, the Ottawa Senators let that lead slip only a minute and 36 seconds later. It was just as the penalty was expiring, but Clayton Keller in the corner tries to pass it out front, goes off Giroux's stick, then hits Ridley Gregg in the hip, and then deflects past Levy Merilainen. So that's an unfortunate one, ties it up at 1. But hey, the hockey gods giveth and the hockey gods taketh away. They got a lucky bounce that gave them the win up against the Leafs. And then this one comes back to bite them. But we'll take the more clutch lucky goal that gave them the win.
Yeah, for sure. This was just such a weird goal, Pilsy? Like, I mean,
very weird.
If this bounce didn't go their way the way it did, we could be looking at another Levy Merilainen shutout here, which would be just another incredible piece to his story. But no such luck. It's all right. Still win the game. Let them have that one on the power play, and carry out the rest of this game and get the win.
Yep, so that takes the score to 1-1. We're going to get to some boots on the ground report. We got a trio of beauties waiting in the backstage here. But first, we got to tell you about a beautiful place in the capital city, our nation's capital, Ottawa. It's the Glebe Central Pub. You guys already know. You can check them out at 779 Bank Street. Let them know that the Locked On Senators podcast sent you. The Glebe Central Pub is the place to go if you're watching Sens games. If you don't have a ticket, but you want to watch with other Sens fans, go to the game, or get yourself a ticket to the game and then get yourself a ticket at the Glebe Central Pub shuttle. Go to the website, check out all the dates that they've got the bus running for. $17 gets you back-to-back trips, Sue will get you there on time, and then she gets out of the parking lot faster than Martian when he's running. That's how quick Sue will get you home and get you back to the GCP so you can catch all the good vibes. Marcia's got the run going right now. And you got to run to our favorite pub in downtown Ottawa. It's the Glebe Central Pub, the GCP, where the vibes are free. This episode is also brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. That's $300 to keep the action going. The FanDuel app is easy to navigate, and the variety of bets keeps all games exciting. Check out their profit boosts. You can bet on all the different promotions that they run. Check it out on the app. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings. I was riding with Mark Mathot on his parlay today. You could have too at FanDuel. Whether you're betting on your favorite team or just looking to add some extra excitement to the playoffs, FanDuel has you covered. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this NFL season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, Sens fans. We got 405 Sens fans here. I'm Brandon Pillar with the Leames Martian. We got the Postcast, the Vibecast, a 3-1 win over the Utah Hockey Club. We're about to add 3 more Sens fans here as we have a trio of our guys. Nick Spence, Stewie, and who do we got back there? Can't see with the light.
That's sensual healing. I know that guy.
Yeah, let's go. I should have recognized that face anywhere. Boys, how are we doing after another victory on the weekend here? Nick, I'll start with you, buddy.
We're doing good. We're doing good. I'm exhausted after last night and tonight. Back-to-back wins, beauty, but we're doing good. Having a blast in the barn tonight.
Yeah. Now, what was attendance like tonight? It sounded like it got loud. The Sunday game after the Leafs. You're not sure with less Leafs fans there that the Sens can pack that building. Were the vibes still high though?
It was the attendance was not bad for Sunday, guys. Like for 5 o'clock it was pretty good. It was quiet in there until the third period though. Like it was, guys were tired, fans were tired. It picked up in the third though. It got loud. The Brady chants were rolling.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about the Brady chants. So did you guys get that one fired up? Was that your idea, or was that just a natural occurrence out there after he finally gets the monkey off his back there?
So the first one was everybody kind of when he got the goal. The second one just came out of nowhere though. That was just like the CTC decided, you know what? Let's go. Brady, we love you, man. You finally scored a goal. Let's get some vibes going.
That's beautiful. I got one more for you, boys. And my question is, what's the post-game plan here? I know it's a Sunday, but I see you got Stewie in the house. Are you sending him back to Montreal right now, or are you guys heading out somewhere? Are you gonna bask in this win a little bit more?
Yeah, I know. So my job right now is being an Uber, driving everyone home, and then I have a 2.5-hour drive home because I'm working tomorrow. But the drive was definitely worth it. And you were talking about the Brady chance, and on Brady's goal, when he got the puck at the blue line, just the way he was driving to the net, the way he got into the zone with the net, I said to the boy, I think he's scoring right here. And
He called it, yeah.
And he scored exactly at that moment. And I think we need, in that sequence, I think I saw what Brady Tkachuk can do, which is get in the zone with the puck with confidence and then just driving to the net. So to me, that drive, was 3 hours almost today, was definitely worth it for that goal. So, but I'm going back home tonight.
Love that you guys got to see a win. Well, let's get you out on this. How about a Sens Central standout from each of you?
All right, who wants to go first?
You go.
I'll go. Okay. I think I'll take Shane Pinto. I really liked his game tonight. I think he was creating opportunities. Opened, like he made that play for Greg where he got the shorthanded goal. Right, that was all Pinto allowing Greg to do that. So I'll go with Pinto. I liked his game tonight.
All right, love it.
I like Levy. Solid as usual. Goalie friendly show. So you got to go with him.
All right, Stu.
So I was gonna take Levy, but Graham just took him. So I'm gonna go with my man.
You got to go with Brady.
Oh, you know what? I was gonna pick Giroux, but I know we laughed tonight a lot because of him, but he did not make any mistakes. So I'm gonna go with Travis Hamonic, although he did he did a slapper that was about 20 feet over the net, and we called it.
We were looking for a Hamonic first goal tonight. He paused. He looked at the puck, looked at the net, looked back at the puck, slapper,
Missed by 30 feet.
30 feet. But you know what? That would have been a home run in Yankee Stadium. So you know what? It's fine.
So
I couldn't believe that when I saw that. It's almost like Hamonic was like, wait, I'm not in my own zone taking a clapper down the ice. I have all this time and space. I have a direct lane to the ice net. What do I do? And then, yeah, it was just all-time iconic hammer missing by a mile.
Stewie, I'm gonna help you out with it here too, Stewie, because the Sens had 19 block shots tonight, and Travis Hamonic had 4 of them. So he was out there. He was there.
All right.
We were counting.
No, mine was clutch. But in all seriousness, I think Claude Giroux scoring his first goal in 14 games, showing up with the hands. I think for me, he gets my standout. And
Right after you were saying he was washed too.
no, what I said is I cannot believe Martian keeps saying he's washed.
Yeah.
There, the boys are giving it to Martian.
But you got to respect. Okay, they were throwing some hot dogs out in the air today. They were throwing hot dogs from the ceiling. There were a couple monkeys in the air too, just throwing off the backs of Claude Giroux and Brady Tkachuk. So it's a good game. It's a good game altogether.
Yeah, anytime there's hot dogs and monkeys flying around, it's a good game. And anytime we get an appearance from these two absolute beauties, it's a good postcast. Boys, thanks for joining us, and go Sens go, and keep filling those seats in the CTC. I know you guys get to a lot of games, and the boys appreciate it. The Brady chants were louder with you three in the building. So thanks for joining, guys, and go Sens go.
Go Sens, go! Woo!
There we go. All right. What an absolute beauty those three guys are. The boots on the ground reports continue to be awesome.
Pillsy, they're great. I do got to defend myself here a little bit because they did say I was the one who keeps saying that Giroux is washed. I have never used the word washed, okay? I just said he's maybe slowing down a little bit. I think everybody
You were dogging him pretty hard at the start of the year, but I came to your defense on Twitter. I said Martian has been giving G his flowers once he started turning his game around, so just a little fun there.
I just got to say I've never used the word washed. I've just said he's slowing down a little bit. That's all.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's fair. But he's finding ways to get it done, and he gets a goal and an assist in tonight's game. Martian and I are going to give our very own standouts after a quick break here, and we'll discuss our standouts. We'll go over the other two goals that the Ottawa Senators had, and we'll just continue to vibe. It's a vibecast. It's a weekend. We're all feeling good. All right, Sens fans, 440 people in the chat here. Thanks to everyone that's here. We love doing the postcast at all times, even when times aren't so great. We've been doing this for a while, so we've seen when times aren't so great. But when they're great like this, and your Ottawa Senators get a 3-1 win, their second win of the weekend after beating the Leafs, and now sit third in the Atlantic Division in the standings, we love doing this. I'm Brandon Pillar, joined by Lalime's Martian. Just had an awesome boots on the ground report from three of the best Sens fans in the business, and we're stoked to keep the vibes going. So let's get back to the scoring summary, though. I like to go through the game goals. You guys know that whenever I'm driving the bus here. So we left off at 1-1. Third period comes along. This is when the Sens had a little wakey and figured things out and realized, hey, let's put the foot on the gas here and we can win this game. So the puck's in Timmy's feet as he enters the zone. Good job finding control of it. He draws two defenders towards him, and then he feeds Giroux down the open wing. Heads up play. G knows if he hits the zone with speed, Timmy's going to hit him with that pass, and he does. And he does one of those wide dekes, and Vejmelka is already stretched out. So he's covering a lot of ground, but he can't move anymore. So G knows that, and he gets wide around him and tucks it in. His first goal in 13 games, his first goal of the year 2025. That had to feel good for the vet.
I mean, yeah, it's got to feel incredible, and that's a fantastic finish from Claude Giroux on that play there too. But I don't know what's better. It's either his finish or the dirty little backhand sauce that Tim Stützle threw on that thing to get it to him. So great play all around, and like I said earlier, just like the goals came at the perfect time for Ottawa tonight.
They really did, yeah. So that gives them the 2-1 win, 2-1 lead rather, and then. Similar play. The Sens enter the zone, and Giroux this time, he's the one that sends it all the way across to Timmy backdoor. Now, Timmy, he's had some finishing power lately, but he can't finish this one. He taps off Vejmelka's skate. But if there's one thing we know, and the boys talked about it in the car, if Brady Tkachuk goes to the net, he's going to drive hard and he's going to bang in those rebounds, and he does that there. The captain's first goal in 10 games. Martian, that's one of those that, you know, like Brady's still been playing good along this 10-game pointless streak for him, but he's got to get points, and most importantly, he's got to get those garbage goals in his office in front of the net. So that is a huge one for the captain.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely massive, Pilsy. And I think if you just look at the earlier parts of this game, he really did a great job of getting himself fully engaged in this one with his physical play to start with. And I think that just led into maybe building up a little bit of confidence and then, you know, scoring that goal. And yeah, I mean, that's where he's going to score them from most of the time, 2 feet in front of the goaltender, and he's whacking away at it, and he ends up burying that one. So, I mean, Brady knows his own formula. That's what it is. You know, you got to get to that front of the net and be a pain in the butt and be that big body that he is. So, he's fantastic in that area, and it's about time, Pilsy, because, I mean, 10 games, it's getting a little bit ridiculous, right? That's like that's the longest he's gone without scoring a point since his rookie season. It might even be the longest of his career, honestly, at this point. So, about time. Yeah, we got it. So we can stop talking about this pointless drought now. And especially, like, I don't even think it was that bad of a pointless drought because, like you said, the team was winning games, and the defensive side of Brady and the physical side of Brady's game, it was all there. So it was only a matter of time. It's not. I was saying it earlier. I was like, I mean, the last 3 or 4 games, I was betting on him to score a goal because I'm just like, this is not going to last forever. And luckily, I did it again tonight. Nice little parlay there with Tim Stützle point and a Sens win, and that one will always feel good. So he did it for me at the right time tonight.
Hey, and that was part of our friend Mark Bathott's parlay. Brady Tkachuk anytime goal and under 7.5. I mean, the under 7.5. I think that was an absolute lock. The Ottawa Senators, have they had more than 7.5 goals scored in the last what?
I mean,
4 goals here. So the last two games combined, that under would have hit.
Yeah, I mean they're an under better. I don't know many guys who love betting unders, but they are they're an under better's dream right now, Pilsy. They are I mean they're not scoring a ton and they're not allowing a ton. So I mean it might be something we should be looking at going forward. I always get nervous betting unders, but it's clearly a trend for Ottawa right now.
Yeah, I don't like to bet the under. That's no fun because exactly, life's too short to bet the under. And if you bet the over, at least when the other team scores, like obviously you're not happy about it, but at least you're like, okay, it adds to the over. Hopefully the Sens can figure this out. But anyways, a 3-1 win for the Ottawa Senators. The under, only 4 goals total here. Martian, the boys gave us some Sens Central standouts, but there's still some left over for us, and we can repeat if you want. So as the gracious host I am, I'll snap it over to you first. Who is your Sens Central standout of the night presented by the Glebe Central Pub?
Yeah, watch this, Pilsy, because I think apparently I owe this guy something. So
okay.
I'm going with the old grizzled vet, Claude Giroux. Let's go. One-on-one out there. I really liked, his goal was great. It was a great feed by Stützle and a great finish by him, as we mentioned.
Yep.
I think his best play of the night was the assist on the Brady Tkachuk goal. He's got his head up the hole. He's got his head up the whole way entering the zone. You can see he was reading the play and looking for options. I thought I was thinking maybe just let that thing rip because he got a lot of traffic going to the net and a lot of chaos in front of Vejmelka there. And I thought maybe he could have snuck one by and go for 2 goals on the night, but he did the right thing. Obviously, he slides that thing down there I think he just put it towards that traffic and just hoped one of his guys was going to get there because they had the bodies. But a brilliant decision by Claude Giroux. And when I say brilliant, I mean that because that's the thing with him that he does extremely well is think the game, and he's honestly probably breaking down percentages on what he can do. What the outcome of a certain play might be versus a different option, and he always seems to do kind of the right thing out there. I know I gave him a bit of a hard time for his foot speed and that sort of thing, but his decision-making is still pretty quick, and he gets stuff done out there. He makes a lot of great plays, and it's a cornerstone game, I think, from Claude Giroux there tonight. 1-1 is always a good thing, and the trend continues, Pilsy, of him really enjoying himself in these time slots that aren't quite late. These 7 p.m. games and the later games, he hasn't nearly performed as well as he does in these, the 1 o'clock matinees and the 3 o'clock starts. And then tonight, the 5 o'clock start time. Maybe we should advocate for a few more of these so we can get this version of Claude Giroux more often because he was really good tonight. The only area I'm going to give him a hard time for tonight because it's just below average for him is in the faceoff circle, 41.7%. That's definitely, he's always above 50% for the most part. So tonight he was a little bit rough in the dot, but Jesus Pilsy, he played 1948 tonight. I mean, on a back-to-back for an old body like that, that's nothing to sneeze at. So Claude Giroux for me, easy standout choice. I love him. He's definitely not washed, and he's the best. He's the best. So Claude Giroux for me.
There we go. Put it to bed. The Claude Giroux slander from Lalime's Martian. Fake news. This guy loves him. His first Sens Central standout of the night. And Martian, you talk about the old dog loving the early bird specials. Well, good thing because there's a couple more left this season. They got the New York Rangers at 12:30 on a Saturday, March 8th. And then on March 30th on a Sunday, 5 p.m. against the Penguins. And then Saturday, April 5th, 2 p.m. against the Panthers. Sunday, April 6th, 5 p.m. against the Blue Jackets, and then the final Sunday game of the year, 13th of April, 1 p.m. against the Philadelphia Flyers. So let's keep that in the old memory banks there, Martian. Betting on G to get points and Sens W's in those games, eh?
Yeah, take a look at that FanDuel account, folks, and look at those odds, and let's get a little Giroux, little Giroux parlay going, baby. Yeah, you got to rub your hands together when you see a stat like that. You see those start times. Let's go.
Yep, something to keep an eye on, guys. Let's snap it around twice here, Martian. I think we can get 4 standouts in this game. I'm gonna go with hashtag goalie friendly show, like our friend Sensual Healing said. Levy Merilainen. For me, sure, the star players scoring and getting some offense going is huge, and obviously when you win a game by 2, you need those guys to get going. But for me, without Levy Merilainen, you're not winning this game. And he just had so many big saves. Like the one in particular that sticks out to me, Martian, was in the second period. I think it was when it was 4-on-4. Barrett Hayton had a full breakaway, and he goes high blocker. Levy gets the shoulder save on it. And it's just anytime there's a one-on-one opportunity, and then Cooley had a partial break with speed, backhand chance, Levy there with the glove. I'm just going through my notes here, finding Levy saves. And then he had a big one at the end of the game, a hard shot. He makes the save, rebound goes to Schmaltz, and he makes the save. And the big thing with all these saves, Martian, is there's not really juicy rebounds after. Like when there's hard, low shots, it's going to bounce off those pillows. There's not much you can do. But when he has the opportunity to trap it down, cover it, and slow things down, he's often able to do that. And I think that's just so huge for a young goalie, because we've seen other Sens goalies in the past where they get scrambly in the crease, the rebounds start getting crazy, get out of position. That's when you get yourself into trouble, but not with Levy Merilainen. Cool, calm, and collected.
I mean, yeah, you stole the word out of my mouth, and that was calm. I think you got to give him a lot of credit for the way he looks in the net, just with his body language and how that gives the rest of the team a little bit of confidence. The other thing is just the tracking of the puck, Pilsy. He knows where that thing is at all times, and he tracks it right into his own glove, and that's why there's not a lot of rebounds out there. I mean, you see that with goalies, right? If they're unaware of where the puck is, but they know it's coming, a lot of the time it'll hit them, but it'll end up being putting the puck in a vulnerable situation. What he ends up always doing is tracking that puck and finding a way to get it covered or caught, so that, I mean, there's no second chance on those babies. So that's a beautiful thing. 971 save percentage, Pilsy. Is that any good?
Nah, math guy sends LOSP stats department. That is good. We like that. We like that a lot for Levy Merilainen. So got to give it to the Finnish Firewall. 36 saves for him? 34 saves for Levy Merilainen. So you love that from the young goaltender. All right, my next Sens Central standout presented by the Glebe Central Pub, Martian. There's a couple different ways I could go here, but I'm going to go with the captain, Brady Tkachuk. He snaps his 10-game pointless streak. He scores off a classic Brady Tkachuk goal. He had 4 shots on goal, 1 block, 2 hits, 16 minutes, 53 seconds. Kind of a short ice time for the captain there. But like we were mentioning, Martian, this guy just finds ways to get into the game. That play he had on Kesselring by the Sens bench, he kind of pokes it away from him and just breaks it up. But then Kesselring, a little bit more agile, he gets to the puck again, and Brady's like, you may be faster than me, but I'm stronger than you, and I know that. And he just gives him the old dump, just dumps him down. And our good friend Jack Richardson always likes to say he loves seeing the hits right in front of the benches, because then you get the players going, like you get the reaction like, oh, or like extra chirps like stay down or something like that, or sit down, or any of those. So that's just awesome to see from the captain. And that, like, I couldn't imagine you're on a 10-game pointless streak, and then finally you score a goal at home, and you got a whole arena of Sens fans chanting Brady, Brady, Brady. Like that's got to feel so good for the captain. So I'm going to get a little love to number 7, our guy, Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah, was the jersey behind you switched intentionally for this postcast, or did you have it up there earlier?
I've had it up for a while, Martian. I had the Linus Ullmark jersey up there, but since he's been injured, I thought it's, I got to give some other people some love while Linus Ullmark's been out, and who better than the captain?
Yeah, no, exactly. Who better? He was amazing. I mean, man, yeah, I really wanted to touch on that Kesselring hit because that was insane. Like he just I was talking about this. Like he might not be the strongest in the gym, probably Brady Tkachuk around the league, but when you put the skates on these guys and they're skating around, just the way he pushes people off the puck, like
got
from
dad
every
strength
angle too, right? Like you don't see it very often where if you're skating the same direction as a guy and you just kind of shove him from behind, most of the time you're just going to give him a little bit of a boost and he's going to keep skating along his way. But with Brady Tkachuk, he gives these guys these shoves in these situations where he has no business knocking them off the puck and he just sends them flying. and it's just like so fun to watch because he's an absolute bull in a china shop out there. And that's saying something because everybody in the NHL is strong and heavy and big, and he's able to throw these guys around like children. So Brady Tkachuk, unreal standout, Pilsy. Awesome game from him. Glad he's finally back on the score sheet. I mean, I'm going to look no further than the new buzz cut kid.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, multi-point night for the German tonight. I would say maybe one of the quieter nights for Tim Stützle as of late. I think that these long stretches of 12 games in 20 days is kind of maybe taking a bit of a toll on Timmy, but he emptied the tank here tonight. 2 great assists. He's all over the puck, and the puck just loves him. So, and I'm loving the new haircut. I think that was the most beautiful move that he could have ever pulled, is getting this haircut just to let the boys chirp him a little bit. You know, he went with the Jacob Chikrin haircut from last season, full buzz cut. He looks insane. So I'm gonna, and hang on, Pilsy, real quick.
Yep.
66.7% the dot for Timmy.
Oh, Timmy.
I don't know if that means he only took 3 faceoffs and won 2 of them, but whatever. I love seeing that number above 50% for our boy Timmy. So we're gonna go with it. And so Tim Stützle, I just thought he was, doing his job out there as always. So let's go, Tim Stützle.
So Martian, we should have assumed, but he went 2 for 3. But hey,
that's what I said.
still good here. And as our good pal Eric Boots on the Ground report last night, the nickname Trim Stützle is so good. We love that. And you know what, Martian, when you're in a slump and things aren't going your way, that's good leadership by Timmy, being like, you know what, I'm going to give the boys a laugh at my expense. My barber told me I can't pull it off, advised me not to get the buzz cut, but I'm buzzing it up anyways. And I was mentioning on the Postcast last night, you get a little more speed, you lose a little weight off the lettuce on top, and you get a little more confidence. And here we are, Tim Stützle, back-to-back nice games.
Yeah, I think that haircut really just shows you how much Brady Tkachuk's personality has worn off on Tim Stützle, where he's looking around and saying, all right, I'm playing pretty good. The team's winning a decent amount of games, but what can I do just a little extra to get the boys a little extra fired up and laughing and in a good mood and get their heads right? I'm going to shave my head into a buzz cut. Let's do this for the boys. He knows he's going to get lipped for it, and he welcomes that. He loves the attention. Reminds me a little bit of me, so it's a great thing for Tim Stützle.
When's the last time you had a buzz cut? Straight buzz.
Me, straight buzz. Probably I was like maybe 11.
Yeah, I was doing it in COVID when you couldn't get a haircut, so I just bought my own buzz kit. And Simone, shout out Simone, she would just buzz my hair right down, and I wasn't seeing anyone. I don't think we were doing YouTube for a lot of those episodes, so just every couple months, just straight buzz. And it's not the freshest, most stylish look, but it feels clean. It feels good every once in a while, so I don't hate it from Trim Stützle here. I
actually. Maybe I'll go to it. I might do it this week or so. I think if Timmy's doing it, maybe I'll just do it in solidarity. You know what I like? I always love the idea of those. And obviously I do it for my beard and my facial hair. It's just the trimmer. But you ever see those round things that they have, pills, where they just you just run it around your own head?
Yourself. Yeah.
You can do it all yourself. I think that sounds very convenient. You can just keep it low, save a little money for your FanDuel account. You can take your haircut money and throw it right on the Tim Stützle anytime goal, or a Timmy point and a Brady goal. Who knows? Like I don't hate the idea. Maybe I'll do it, Pills. I'm just that kind of guy, I'll do it for the team.
You are, and we miss Ricky Martian those days with your bleach blonde hair. That was like, say what you want, Martian, but I thought that was a good look for you. It was fun.
Yeah, I mean it was fun. And I mean, that was kind of in the midst of COVID times too. I think Pilsy, that must have been 4 years ago. So we're talking.
It was a while ago. Yeah,
that was 2020. Things were. I mean, you lose your mind a little bit when you're on that lockdown situation. I think that's what happened with me there. And I don't think it was my best look, Pilsy, but and I'll probably never do it again. But it wasn't horrible. Yeah.
It was fun while it lasted. The Overmaster says entire chat getting a buzz. So 457 buzz cuts coming up here. Let's go. But in all seriousness, a great game from Timmy here. Another Sens Central standout for us here. Let's go over some of the super comments here, as we like to do at the end of the show. Our good friends, Sens fans in Van, they love an early game here just as much as we do. We literally had just said G had finally lost a step. Martian, wasn't just you. He was falling down, bobbling pucks. Then he scores that beauty. Hashtag Claude Father Forever. Love that from Sens fans in Van. Justin S. says, how long does D first versus scoring sustain the team to get points or keep them playoffs bound? Seems like the strategy is harder on the D and G. I'm assuming G, he means goalie, not Claude Giroux. Martian, how do you feel about that comment? Are you a little nervous that, sure, they're playing this defensive structured game all the time, but they're still, I mean, they get some goals here, but they're still not quite clicking at the high level of offense we know they can? Or do you think this is sustainable?
It doesn't really worry me. I think it is sustainable, Pilsy. I think if you look at a lot of really good teams who have, the first thing that they usually unlock when they become, a playoff type team is the defensive side of things. And then the offense comes eventually with it. So I think the Sens are kind of in that stage right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if the offense starts coming a little bit later in the season, probably perfectly timed, hopefully for a playoff run. And that would be just, that would be exactly how I think Travis Green would want to draw it up. They've got the defensive side locked down. It's pretty obvious that they can consistently shut teams down. It is just a matter of getting the puck in the back of the net themselves. And I think we know that there's a lot of talent on this team. So I don't think it's surprising to think that I would think that they could do it.
I think now that the top guys have scored and snapped those streaks, we're going to see them come in here much more than they had been before. Another one from Justin S.
It's Batherson next.
Yeah, Batherson's got to get going here for sure. Justin, appreciate you. He says, when are we going to see the top six clicking in goals along with the bottom six, especially the PP, the power play? Look, I'm going to say the top six, they're going to get going here now. And for the bottom six, I think David Perron, Michael Amadio coming back, that should be huge. We've all said it. The chat has been buzzing about it too. I think at some point they got to give Crooker a look here, so he would really help out the bottom six. Martian, I'll throw it to you with this one. Do you think the power play is coming along at least, or do you think it's one of those things where we know it can be good, so eventually it's just got to figure itself out, or do you think they got to do some drastic changes here?
I don't know if they need to do some drastic changes, but they need to work on it. I think if whenever their next practice may be, I'm wondering. I'm guessing they're going to get a day off tomorrow, just because they need to have a certain amount of days off every month as per the CBA. But I think that they just need to work on it. I don't know. And their passing, I think in general, has not been as crispy as it could be. So. Get the passing crispy, get the boys buzzing at a high tempo in that power play, move the puck around, and then get those shots. I think it'll come. I don't think it needs to be anything drastic, Pilsy. They got the right clientele out there, I think. Yeah. I don't know if you would disagree with that or not, but for the most part, those are the guys I would be picking to be out there, and maybe they can switch up some of the positioning maybe. But the main thing I think, too, would be not trying to force that bumper pass because it's just too obvious, and it rarely works. I mean, we've seen it maybe twice this season where it's been executed to perfection.
You got to time it perfectly for it to work.
Yeah, and it looks awesome when it happens, but I don't think that that's the play. So yeah, I would just say maybe that's just my comments on that. I don't think it needs to be anything crazy. I think it'll come eventually.
Yeah, I think the bumper play should be your plan B or C, but when it's your plan A and you're forcing it, it gets obvious and guys get sticks in lanes and it slows things down. As far as the personnel goes, Martian, this week before an episode, Ross and I were talking about this, so I spent like 15-20 minutes just juggling around the power play lines, and I just at the end of it, I ended up just putting the lines back the way they were when I was like, hey, you need a finisher here, a passer here, a net front guy, face-off guy, and then a defenseman. I switched it around, and then I kept plugging and playing guys, and then I was like, wait a second. I just put the lines exact way they are. So I do think the way they are set up now is probably the best way. They just need to find ways to figure it out. So hopefully that ends up happening. You got anything more on the power play?
No, that's it. No, for me, yeah, same thing. I think that they've got it. They've got the right guys out there. They just need to. I don't know what they need. Maybe draw up a new play, get Alfie to get creative and think something up and be like, hey, this is an option that we're not using ever, and maybe we can try this. And so I think that, let's just get a little coaching on the PP. I think the special teams coaching needs to figure that out. That they're the ones who it's on. I think at this point.
All right. Wally Rabs says, shout out to Timmy's barber at JTop Blends. Timmy, 1 goal, 2 assists since the cut. So the barber gets some love here. We love that. And then we got another one from our guy, Justin. He says, do it, Martian. Buzz cut. Zzz.
Yeah, I mean, I will do it. If
Save it for the summer. That's a summer haircut.
I don't really subscribe to. I always have long hair in the summer and I have short hair in the winter. I don't know why I'm so backwards. I'm very backwards that way. I think it has a lot to do with wearing a toque. Wearing a toque with long hair is a pain in the butt, so I don't do that. I'm backwards that way. So I think it might be a winter move for me. I'll have to clear it with the powers that be, if you know what I mean. So just to know that it's allowed. But other than that, I think that I'm open to it for sure. I would really like to see if I can get 10 guys in the chat right now telling me that they're going to do it too. I'll do it.
Martian's a man of his word, guys. So there's 437 of you in the chat here. I'm not a math guy, but that's a low percentage of people that need to commit to that. And we could see Martian get the buzz cut. And then if we could get all you guys together at the game with your matching fresh buzz cuts and get a group pick, that would be absolutely awesome. So that's the dream.
I mean, get the buzz cuts, throw our Stützle jerseys on. Let's go down and do warm-ups. We'll stand there, all their buzz cuts banging on the glass. The boys will get a kick out of it.
Oh, man, that's awesome. We're always having a blast here at the Postcast. Oh, man, he's doubling down, Martian. Justin S., buzz that hair. Martian, I'll do it as well. So we got one. We got one here. So 9 more, and we're going.
I mean, with the $69.99 donation too. I mean, Justin, let's do this, buddy. Let's do this together. I'm in.
All right, that's awesome, man. Okay, so we're talking haircuts, we're talking wins, we're talking vibes, we're talking the Ottawa Senators, 3rd place in the Atlantic Division. It's all good over here in Sens land. Martian, we're almost at 50 minutes here. You got any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
It actually just occurred to me that maybe I'll actually buzz my hair on the Postcast.
Even better.
We could come up with something. We can get creative with that, but we could do it. Maybe like have a Jack, you and Ross Postcast and just my video of me getting my head buzzed. While you
maybe we try to find Timmy's barber and get him to do it. That would be awesome.
I think that's not a bad idea either. I think. What was the name of the guy? Top 3 blends.
I think this is not fact check. Martian, keep your ear to the streets. Maybe we can find this. Someone had it here. It was our guy Wally Rabs at JTop Blend. So note that down, Martian. Maybe send him a note. Ask him if the streets are true here, and if it is, we should try to hook that up.
Maybe I'll just give him a call and be like, hey, you guys cut Tim Stützle's hair? I want the exact same haircut. It's just the best cut.
Hey, they'll appreciate the business. So that's awesome there. So buzz cut, it sounds like it's happening.
I mean, it's happening. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I think it's just I'm a sicko for content. I'm a sicko for the Sens. Let's do it.
It's the Buzzcast here, as Spiegler says. Okay, cool. 3-1 win for your Ottawa Senators over the Utah Hockey Club. We're teaching them a thing about hockey down in Salt Lake City, as we've beaten them twice now, 4-0 and then 3-1. Technically, they have not shot the puck in the Ottawa Senators net this season. Oh no, I'm getting looped into this too now, Martian. Justin S. Billsy asked to do it. Hey, I'm not fully against it because I usually do a fade haircut, so I'm basically there anyway. So in the summer, maybe I'll just get the top cleaned up as well.
Yeah, and you got a nice round head too, Pillsy. Like, so not everybody can pull off a buzz cut. I'm lucky too. I've got a pretty round head, even though it's very tiny. So yeah, I think we could. if you want to get on board, Pillsy, there's a seat for you right next to me on this spot.
All right. Well, hey, I got to check with the powers that be as well, Martian, but I think we could get that approved, push that paperwork along. All right, guys, this has been way too much haircut talk, but we're having fun, so it's all good. Thank you to everyone here in the chat. Thank you to our sponsors, the Glebe Central Pub. You guys know the vibes are free at the GCP. FanDuel, get your NFL playoff bets in, futures. The Super Bowl's coming up, more Sens games to come. And for everyone at the Locked On Senators podcast, for myself, Brandon Pillar, for at Lalime's Martian, we thank you for joining us for another edition of the Postcast. It's the Locked On Senators podcast. Get some Go Sens go in the chat. We're your team every day.